Rap Grid. We're here with the new King of the Dot champion, Illmaculate. How you feeling?
I feel good. I feel lovely.
So, let's talk about something. You're a very cerebral person. What was your strategy coming into this battle? Like you just had a certain air of confidence that kind of made everybody that was around any of the battlers this weekend be like, I thought Pat was gonna win, but after speaking to Illmac, like, I don't know, son. There's something about him. He's hungry.
Yeah, man. So that's like two different things. Like as far as strategy and then the energy. So like the energy thing. You know, from the jump from New Chain, like dropping New Chain, I felt like that was a shift. There was a shift because when the matchup was first announced, I felt like a lot of people are like, "Yo, there's two good rappers," but I'm not interested in seeing that necessarily, and Pat's gonna wash them. I felt like that's sort of the general consensus. And then I dropped New Chain. Really, what happened was I dropped New Chain. I went to the studio. I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna diss this fool." I'm like, for a few different reasons. I'm like, for one, if he responds, I'm just gonna body him before the battle, and that's all that he's gonna go into the battle down already, like losing, you know. I'm like, so I hope he responds, but I had a feeling he wouldn't, which also just puts him on the defense and makes me look good because I can, I have the advantage as far as actually rapping on songs or whatever. So I'm like, cool, this is foolproof. So I record it, about to drop it, and then Shotty, I send it to Chase, like, yo, I'm about to drop this, and Chase is like, yo, Shotty just dropped this joint like a couple hours ago or whatever, peep it, and it's like him name dropping all the battle rappers dissing him. So then I was kind of hot, like, it kind of takes steam out of me dissing Pat, because when I originally did it, I'm like, I don't think motherfuckers really be doing this. Like, I ain't really heard diss track, especially on this level between the names we are and title match, whatever. I'm like, it's gonna be dope. So then when I seen that, I was like, well, fuck. That like takes the air out of New Chain. So I hit the studio the next day, recorded a response to Shotty, boom, put it out. Ever since then, I felt like there was a shifting of energy where people are like, yo, Illmac might take this, and the conversation started to be more back and forth as far as that went. And I called it New Chain for a reason, I'm not gonna go too far into that strategy. However, my energy going into it, I never had like the bulk of my material done or anything. Like towards the end, I really scrambled at the end, but it was never a thing where like, oh, I got so much dope shit that I'm gonna win this, and now I'm confident. I'm radiating this confidence, and people. It was honestly just I had this feeling, and this feeling in the air. Like it's hard to explain. I knew I was going to win. When I said that in the press conference, when I said that on that road to the chain, I wasn't bullshitting. I like seen it happen several times. Several hundred times, and I just kept visualizing it. So I didn't really, it was never really a thought in my mind of losing, And then as far as like strategy, if you break my rounds down, like I predict everything he's gonna do, which is fine. It's not like he has the most crazy, hard to predict style. As far as his battles, he has kind of a format, but from the short jokes and trying to distract you from the bars, I knew that was going to be first round. The second round, I talk about the swag. He going to try to swag on me. The next round, that was the swag. I'll be having sex and have a Cadillac. Then third round, if you listen to my third round, I predict that I knew he was going to do that third round for some reason. I absolutely I was like, yo, he's going to do this like, I'm tired of battle rap in the chain, and you can have it. I knew he was gonna do that. If you listen to my material, tell him how you feel, Pat. Like, tell him how you feel. Heavy lies the chain. Well, I'm determined to go get it because he feels weighed down by that crown and the burden that goes with it. He feels jaded, exhausted of having to claw for his just due. Created this persona he can no longer live up to. What better way out? Like I predict all that. His whole third round, I set the tone for it.
Well, here's the thing that I'll say about it. Your first round, I think it was very dope. I feel like it was well put together, and to me it was a little technical, right? So sometimes live, and you know, I quote all the bars and shit. So sometimes it was too much for me to like hold on and quote. Like I had to intently listen. You know what I mean? Then after Pat's first round, he kind of swagged out and did his Pat thing. You know what I mean? He had the jokes and stuff. A lot of people were like, Pat got that round. Pat got that round. And I'm like, okay, I can see that. But I was like, yo, I think it would be very hard for you to really take in everything Illmac is saying live. You know what I mean? And I was like, damn, like, I don't want people saying Pat won because they didn't understand everything Illmac was saying live. So part of me was kind of like, damn, Illmac, like, just start punching. You know what I mean?
Well, see, here's my take on the first is I think that was the round, which no matter what, everyone's like, yo, you can't beat Pat in Toronto because he has the, you know, the control and the crowd and the hometown, or the, you know, that favor. And to me, that round was the breaking of that. I had to take that round. I had to take less reaction that round, no matter what. And I think even if I put my second round there's gonna be a difference in reaction from what I got when I spit my second, because that was the like, all right, yeah, okay. And by the second round, especially coming out punching, it's like, all right, I'm fucking with this, you know. And it's very noticeable, like the difference in reaction that I got and he got for just saying some dumb shit, you know, just saying like, you're not a man, you're not a man, shit. And that's just like, so I expected that. But like, if you listen to that round, I'm punching in there. Like that round had it all, from punching. And what I did at the end is I did sacrifice ending with haymakers, and I did that for a specific reason, because I had a feeling that he was gonna start his round, that he thought I was gonna end my round like, oh, with some crazy punch and like yelling and crazy rhyme schemes, and that he was just gonna say some old slick shit immediately, like, oh, isn't that cute? And everyone just started dying, and it's like discrediting everything I just did. So what I wanted to do is dial the verse down at the end and kind of roast him. That's why I went on the lip lick and shit, and also end my round playing defense. So it might not have been the craziest haymaker that I ended with, but I ended my round playing defense. Like count how many times he licks his lips, whatever, you know. Like if he licks his lips under 5 times, I'll do 10 push-ups. Like that isn't the hardest hitting shit, but at the same time, it puts a little bit of pressure on him to not lick his lips, or one thing, which could be distracting. And then also it's a little distracting to the people watching. Like now I'm looking for that. I'm still listening, but I'm kind of, oh yeah, he's looking at the lips. So like, look, you know what I'm saying? So it's a way to play defense a little bit at the end of my round too, you know.
So I will say, round 2, I think everyone was like, yeah, Illmac bodied that round. But round 1 is kind of like, people were like, oh, I think Pat edged it. Round 2 was like Illmac like bodied that round.
I think on camera that round 1 is gonna be a lot. I think it'll be received a little bit.
Yeah, I know. I know it's gonna. I think it'll be people. It might be 50-50 depending on what people like. But
yeah, round 2, that's when I got more personal. The first round was pretty universal. I punched, joked, all that shit, and then I also did my Illmac thing, the signature cerebral shit in the middle. That whole, you know, the rise, the fall, the star, the supernova, all that shit. I had to though. I was like, fuck that. And then yeah, the second, I was like more of the character assassination and breaking down of Pat Stay, but still punching with it, you know.
So how do you even break down the third round? Because to me, like it was too much going on. Like I was like, I don't know. I don't know who got the third round, and I felt like the whole battle came to the third round. You know what I mean?
The third was crazy because, so the second started with the rebuttals, okay, and then the third, I had a rebuttal. I had 2 rebuttals, and then right when it came to me, I blanked. So I'm like, fuck it, boom, straight into the shit. And I think I said a little thing about him getting fat at the start, and then transitioned into my shit. And the third was definitely a mix. It was a mixed bag. There's punches, character assassination, breaking them down, and then more so is like the thematic. You know, what do you gotta do? I wanted to end this shit making a statement like, what you gotta do to get the chain, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted to put that towards the end of my shit because I wanted that fresh on the judge's mind. You know, okay, you're controlling the environment and everything. Well, I want to control thought patterns. Like, so if you plant that seed, like all this shit you gotta do to get the chain, like at the very end, it's kind of like, yo, you know, he's right, and there is these biases and whatever, you know. And at that very end, the thing that fucked up is I think it was after I said the face of the league shit, you never had a body to connect with. After I said that line, we started bantering back and forth, and I completely lost where I was. Blank. I'm like, oh shit. And so like I basically jumped to the end of my shit and then started remembering chunks and was like hopping around in the order of my third. So I'm sure when I watch it, I'm gonna be like a little upset because it, you know, might not have been as polished as I intended it to be, and I even skipped a good like 8-bar chunk, but I'm really glad that I was able to still, you know, make it work and jump around these chunks, because I wasn't even able to do it chronologically. I was like jumping around all the shit after the body to connect with. I was just like reverse engineering my verse, like just putting it together, like, oh yeah, that chunk, that one, oh that was supposed to, fuck it. And then at the end, I will say the pit worked for me in a lot of ways, you know, and I like that atmosphere. But I will say, regardless of how, you know, it could have came across, I think that's the one thing I didn't take into consideration with pulling the chain out at the end, was the fact that it was a pit. And I assumed even if it was, there would be camera with the live screen on, you know, there usually is, but there wasn't. So when I pulled the chain out, like, I'm already the champ. Like, the last thing you'll see is my necklace flashing. I'm already the champion. I pulled it out. Only like the people in the front row reacted. Overall, I'm happy with the result. The homie Nino like said something real, because I was like a little upset with my performance, and he was like, "Yo, perfection is the destination, but victory is found on the path." You know, so that's what keeps me driven. I think is even. I try to learn something from every battle, and it's just is gonna make me hungrier to outdo this performance, you know.
So, explain the hand buzzer thing.
Oh yeah.
Do you have it?
Yeah, it's in my bag though. I have this little. Okay, the thought process behind that actually goes deeper than what I told you. So I got this hand buzzer. It's like the little shit where you shake hands with someone and it shocks them. And I had planned this whole thing like at the start of being like, yo, you know, this is no animosity. I fuck with Pat, you know. This might come as a shock, but I fuck with Pat. Putting my hand out and then shocking his ass when we dab, and be like, I said this might come as a shock, but I fuck with Pat. But I bought the buzzer or whatever, and that wasn't the only thing originally I was gonna do, because this fool, you know, he be wet willying motherfuckers and doing all this shit. I was gonna like prank him the whole battle, like this was the first draft of the round, was like I was gonna do that, and then I was gonna be like, nah, like peace offering, like, you know, it's all good, and pull out roses and then like squirt him with water when he goes to grab him. And I was gonna try to put a kick me sign on his back like at the end of the battle. She like shake his hand like, yeah, get that. But I was like, all right, let me not go too far, let me just stay within the realm, like what I know I can control. So I got the hand buzzer, boom. And I was like testing it. It's hella weak. Like, I remember when I was young, they had ones that actually shocked you. Like, now it's like motherfuckers must have sued or something, and it just kind of vibrates. And I'm like, this is weak. He shakes my hand and does nothing. I got nothing for that, you know? So I was like, I'm just gonna let him see it. I'm like, he's not gonna shake my hand. And I just planned for him to not shake my hand and had a line ready to go for it. So it's like, no matter what he did, he was gonna get something, you know, a line. But yeah, so I had the little hand buzzer in that first little part. And that's why you'll see like Gannick and him be like, because it was facing away from the crowd. But it was cool. I'm glad he didn't. It was actually a better line that he didn't shake my hand.
So, a couple people said before the battle that Pat like might not he might kind of like tap out, like I don't want the chain no more type shit, right? And it's funny because in his third round he didn't really tap out. He kind of like, in a well-written way, he explained like his whole thought process behind the chain being a burden to him, and it actually kind of came off dope. So going in that last round, especially when Organic was like, it was a 3-2 decision, were you like, fuck, because you know usually they go, and the new chant, he didn't say that. You know what I mean? Were you kind of like, I might not have got it?
Nah, I had a good feeling I won. I was just, I didn't ever really doubt it. It's just weird to say, you know, it's not on some cocky shit. It's just, it's hard to explain. It was just, I definitely just felt it the whole time, you know. as far as that shit, like I said, I knew it was coming. Like I could just tell. I'm pretty good at reading people, and just from interviews and speaking to him, I'm like, I know he's gonna do this, like the burden. And like I said, that's why I said, you know, if you think about that, if the order was switched, of course we could if ands till the end of, you know, time. But if you think about the order switch, he does that round, comes off dope, and then I do mine. Like, oh yeah, you tell her how you feel, heavy lies the chain. Like that's even more, like, you know, it has more impact. But I knew that was coming for some reason. I don't know why. So that shit's cool. I mean, I don't think he tapped out. I think he had some shit to say and he did it, but that doesn't concern me, you know. I mean, all I can worry about and control is my performance.
Do you get some type of satisfaction out of this, as far as like, you've been around so long, you know what I'm saying? If you've had your ups and downs, do you feel like just something like being the champion of one of the most viewed leagues is I don't know, some type of like gratification? Like you feel like people will finally see you as that guy on the top of the mountain?
Yeah, man, I definitely take satisfaction in it. I wanted the chain. You know, when I came out and got it, I said I was gonna do it almost a year ago, and people were kind of like, nah, like you can't beat past the end. I don't know about getting a title shot, and I made that happen because it was something that I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. And a lot of my motivation was to do what people say couldn't be done. I'll beat Pat, stay in Toronto, you know. And you can try to like rationalize anything, but that's what happened, period.
So what's going to keep you motivated?
What's going to keep me motivated is I want to be regarded as the greatest of all time before I hang this up. And it's going to happen.
So for you to do that, do you feel like you have to like go win the Don't Flop championship and then go to like Smack and catch a crazy body, and you know
all that? I'll unify the titles, go catch a body on Smack.
Speaking of which, you versus Loaded Lux might be kind of crazy.
Yeah, man. I'd love to battle Lux.
That's for another vlog, though.
Yeah.
I guess the last thing, man, like show us the new chain. Show us how it's different from the old chain.
No chain. Look at that, baby.